forgotten Cygenel, the planet Velora, was once calm and bright. Soft blue cities rested under wide silver skies. Its people were not fighters. They were builders and dreamers. Now the sky was broken. Dark enemy ships covered the stars. They belonged to the Car Dominion, a force that conquered worlds without mercy. Inside the main command chamber, Commander Terrell stood in silence. His 4 eyes watched the shield display fall again. 40% remained. Not enough to survive. Officers filled the room. Some whispered in fear. Others stared at their screens. No one spoke of victory. The Dominion fleet did not attack yet. They waited. They always waited. They liked to break hope first. A young signal officer stepped forward. His hands were shaking. "Commander, there is one last option." Terrell already knew. The emergency signal. The forgotten signal. The one sent only to legends, humans. Stories about humans traveled through the galaxy. Some said humans were traders. Some said they were destroyers. Most believed they were myths. Humans stayed far away. They did not answer calls. They did not join wars. They lived deep in the void. No one had ever seen them come to help. No one had proof they cared. Sending the signal felt useless, almost foolish, but foolish hope was better than none. Terrell gave a slow nod. "Send it," he said softly. The officer hesitated. "This signal has not been used for centuries. No one has ever answered." "If we fall," Terrell replied, "let history say we tried." The beacon activated. A weak pulse of light left the planet. It carried fear, coordinates, and a final plea. Then it disappeared into darkness. Nothing answered. Only silence returned. Minutes passed slowly. The Dominion fleet moved closer. Their weapons began to charge. Warning alarms echoed through the chamber. Cities below prepared for evacuation, but there were not enough shelters. There was never enough time. Terrell looked at the stars. He wondered if humans were real, or just stories told to give comfort. An officer spoke quietly. "Commander, shields at 30%. Terrell closed his eyes. This was the end. Not with glory, but with waiting. Suddenly a new alarm sounded, different from the others. Sharp and strange. The room froze. All eyes turned to the sensor screen. The signal officer blinked. "Commander, I am detecting something. It is not Dominion." Terrell stepped closer. "What kind of object?" The officer swallowed. It appeared for a moment, then vanished. Even the enemy ships slowed. They felt it too. Space itself seemed to bend, like the void was breathing. For the first time in days, Terrell felt fear change into something else, something unknown. The signaled officer whispered, "Commander, what if someone heard us?" Terrell said nothing. He stared into the dark space beyond the enemy fleet, far beyond Velora, far beyond known systems. The forgotten signal traveled on. It had reached the void, and the void had listened. Whispers from the Viodai, the command chamber, stayed silent. Every officer watched the sensor screen. No one breathed. The unknown signal did not return. It was gone, like it was never there. "Check again," Commander Terrell ordered. "Scan all ranges." The sensor officer worked fast. His fingers moved across glowing panels. "I see nothing now," he said, but the readings were real. The Car Dominion fleet had stopped advancing. Their ships held position. That alone was terrifying. The Dominion never stopped without reason. They feared nothing, until now. Outside the chamber, the sky remained red. Enemy ships blocked the stars, but the space between them felt wrong. Too quiet. Terrell studied the sensor data. The signal had no clear shape, no mass, no normal energy pattern. It did not move like a ship, the officer said. It folded space. Another officer whispered, "That is impossible." Terrell said nothing. His mind returned to the emergency beacon, to the forgotten signal sent into the void. Had it been answered, or had something else noticed them? A deep vibration passed through the station. Not an impact, not a weapon, more like a distant echo. The Dominion fleet reacted first. Several ships adjusted formation. Weapons shifted toward empty space. "They see it too," someone said. The sensor screen flickered. Static washed across it for a second. Then new readings appeared. "Commander," the officer said, his voice low, "I am detecting multiple distortions." Terrell stepped closer. "How many? I cannot tell. They come and go, like whispers." The word felt right. Whispers from the void. On the enemy flagship, Dominion commanders argued. Their scans also failed. Their weapons locked. Onto nothing. Fear spread through both fleets. because fear grows fastest in the unknown. Another vibration rolled through space. Stronger this time, lights dimmed across the station. The shield level held, but barely. "Commander," an officer said, "our power systems are reacting. They are being pulled." "By what?" Tyrell asked. The officer shook his head. "By space itself." For the first time, Tyrell felt true doubt, not doubt in survival, but doubt in reality. The void ahead darkened. Stars stretched into thin lines, like something was opening. The Dominion fleet fired warning shots. Bright energy blasts vanished into nothing, as if swallowed. "No effect," someone whispered. The silence returned, heavier than before. Then came a sound, not through air, but through sensors and hulls, a deep low hum, slow and powerful. It was not a message, not yet, but it felt intentional. Several Dominion ships began to retreat, only a little, only enough to show fear. Tyrell realized something important. Whatever this was, it scared the Dominion. The sensor officer's eyes widened. "Commander, I am detecting structure." "What kind of structure?" "Large, very large." The void twisted again. A shape began to form, still unclear, still hidden. "Signal origin matures the emergency beacon path," the officer said. The room went still. Tyrell's heart raced. Could the stories be true? No message came, no friendly greeting, only the growing hum, only the bending stars. The Dominion fleet prepared to flee, not attack, flee. Tyrell stood tall. Hope returned slowly, carefully. The whispers from the void grew louder, and something was coming through. The human warship Aruva Fista. Void finally broke open, not with fire, not with light, but with sound. A deep howl rolled through space, low and powerful, like a storm waking from sleep. Stars bent hard now. Lines of light stretched and twisted. The space between worlds tore wide. The Dominion fleet panicked. Ships broke formation. Orders overlapped in chaos. "This is not possible," a Dominion officer shouted. "No ship can survive that transition." On Velora's command station, no one spoke. Every eye was locked on the void. Then it appeared. At first, only a shadow, too large to understand, too dark to measure. Sensors screamed warnings. Mass readings spiked beyond limits. Energy levels climbed off every scale. "Commander," the sensor officer whispered, "I cannot calculate its size." The shape moved forward, slow, confident. As it emerged, lights ignited across its hull. White and gold lines carved through the darkness. Symbols burned bright along its armor. It was a warship, not elegant, not smooth, built for survival and destruction. The human warship came howling from the void. Its engines roared like thunder, not fast, not rushed, like it knew nothing could stop it. Compared to it, Dominion ships looked small, fragile, temporary. Fear spread through the enemy fleet. True fear, the kind they had never felt before. "Identify that vessel," a Dominion commander demanded. The answer came too late. A wideband transmission cut through all channels. Clear, calm, and steady. "This is the human warship Resolute. You are interfering with a protected signal." The voice was simple. No anger, no threat. That made it worse. On Velora's station, the message echoed through the chamber. Several officers gasped. Some fell to their knees. Humans were real. Another message followed. "This colony sent a distress call. We heard it." Commander Tyrell felt his legs weaken. They had answered. The Dominion fleet opened fire, fear turning into desperation. Energy weapons struck the human ship. Explosions bloomed against its shields, then faded. No damage. The human warship did not move, did not dodge, did not retreat. It absorbed the attack like rain. "This is your only warning," the human voice said. "Withdraw immediately." The Dominion flagship tried to jump away. Its engines flared, then failed. Space locked around it, held tight. "How?" a Dominion officer screamed. The human ship turned slightly, just enough. Massive weapon ports opened along its side. Slow, deliberate. Commander Tyrell understood then. Humans did not rush. They arrived when it mattered. "Human warship." Tyrell transmitted carefully. "This is Velora Command." We did not believe anyone would answer. The reply came at once. "Someone always answers." The words carried weight, not pride, not boasting. Fact. The Dominion fleet began a full retreat, ships colliding in panic. Formation lost, but the human warship moved again. Forward, silent now, negative. The human voice said, "You started this." The warship's main weapon charged, light bending inward, space trembling. Tyrell watched in awe and fear. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had arrived. When humans go to WR, the human warship did not rush the attack. It moved with calm control, like a hunter that already knew the ending. The Dominion fleet tried to scatter. Ships turned in all directions. Orders collapsed into panic. Commander Tyrell watched in silence. He had seen battles before, but never like this. The human warship Resolute advanced slowly, its massive hull cutting through space, shadows rolling across enemy ships. New human weapons came online, not loud, not bright, just precise. Thin beams of light fired first. They did not explode, they sliced. Dominion cruisers were cut clean in half. No warning, no chance to react. Enemy shields failed instantly, as if they were never there. Target neutralized, a calm human voice reported. The Dominion answered with everything they had. Missiles, plasma cannons, energy storms, all of it crashed against the human shields. All of it failed. The shields did not flare, they did not weaken, they simply held. Tyrell felt his breath. This was not defense, this was superiority. Human drones launched next, small, fast, silent. They moved like a swarm, dodging fire, striking engines, disabling weapons. Dominion ships went dark one by one, drifting, helpless. Why are they not destroying all of them? An officer whispered. Tyrell understood. Humans were choosing. The Resolute turned again, facing the Dominion flagship. That ship tried to fire. Its weapons overloaded. Systems failing under pressure they could not understand. A single human weapon charged. Not large, not flashy. Space around it bent inward, like reality itself was being pulled tight. The shot fired. There was no explosion, only absence. The front half of the Dominion flagship vanished, not destroyed, removed. The rest of the ship drifted in silence. Fear broke what remained of the Dominion fleet. They sent surrender signals, open channels, broken voices. The human response was simple: power down all weapons, remain still. One by one, enemy ships complied. The war was already decided. Commander Tyrell felt his hands shake, not from fear, from relief. The humans had not come to show anger, they came to end the threat. A message arrived on Valora command channels. "This is Human Fleet Command. The immediate danger is over." Cheers broke out across the station. Some officers cried openly. Others stood frozen in disbelief. Tyrell stepped forward. "This colony owes you its life," he said. The reply came without delay. "You owed nothing." Human repair craft moved in, stabilizing damaged stations, redirecting power. They worked with speed and care, like they had done this many times before. Tyrell watched the human warship hold position, still, silent, watching everything. He realized something then. Humans did not love war. They mastered it. When humans went to war, it was not chaos, it was control. And the galaxy would remember that lesson. The price of Savivatu in the battlefield grew quiet. Wreckage drifted through space. Enemy ships floated without power. The war was over. On Valora, emergency lights faded. Shields began to recharge. Cities below slowly came back to life. Commander Tyrell remained at the command station, watching human ships move with purpose. They did not celebrate, they did not boast. Human repair vessels reached damaged areas. They sealed breaches. They stabilized reactors. They saved lives. An officer approached Tyrell. "Commander, human medical teams are requesting access." Tyrell nodded at once. "Grant them full clearance." Human medics arrived. They worked alongside Valoran healers. Different forms, same purpose. For the first time since the invasion began, there was no fear in the air, only exhaustion. Tyrell opened a secure channel to the Resolute. "Human Commander," he said, "we owe you everything." The reply came calm and steady. "There is a cost." Tyrell's heart tightened. Of course there was. What cost? He asked carefully. The human voice paused. Not dramatic, not cold. "We lost ships. We lost people." Silence filled the chamber. Human losses had been invisible during the battle, but they were real. "Why would you risk that for us?" Tyrell asked. "You did not know us." The answer came simple. "We knew. The signal, the forgotten signal," the human commander explained. "Long ago, when humanity was young, they were alone, surrounded by hostile powers. No one came when they called. No one answered their signals. So humans made a promise, never again. Any call, sent into the void, the humans said, we listen. Terrell felt shame and gratitude together. They had doubted, they had almost given up. The human commander continued, every response has a price. We accept it. Across the station, officers listened in silence. Human ships recovered their wounded. Fallen crews were honored, not with loud ceremony, but with quiet respect. Terrell watched human crews pause, heads lowered, hands placed against their hulls. They remembered their dead, even in victory. Later, Dominion prisoners were secured. Human forces did not torture, did not humiliate. They enforced peace, nothing more. Terrell spoke again. How can we repay you? The human reply was immediate. Live, rebuild, remember. The words struck deep. Human ships began preparing to leave. Repairs finished, wounded stabilized. Terrell felt a strange fear then, not of invasion, but of goodbye. You are leaving, he said. Yes, the human commander replied. There are other signals. The galaxy was bigger than Valora. As the Resolute turned slowly, its massive engines warmed. Terrell looked at the warship, at the scars on its hull. Proof of the price paid. Humanity had come. Not for glory, not for reward, but because someone called, and someone answered. They will remember use. The human fleet prepared to depart. Massive ships aligned in silent formation. Their engines hummed low and steady. Valora watched from below. Cities repaired, skies clear again. Commander Terrell stood at the observation deck. His eyes followed the human warship Resolute, its hull still marked by battle. Human crews finished. Final checks. Medical craft returned. Repair drones docked. A final transmission opened. This is Human Fleet Command. Valora is secure. Relief spread through the station, not loud, not wild, but deep. Terrell activated his channel one last time. Human Commander, he said. Your names will be remembered here. The reply came soft. That is not required. Terrell shook his head. It is. He turned to his officers. From this day forward, we will tell this story. The story of a signal sent in despair, of silence, of waiting, and of a howl from the void. The human fleet began its jump sequence. Space folded around their ships. Stars stretched thin before the jump. One final message came through. Commander Terrell. Yes, he answered. You were not forgotten. The words stayed, even as the fleet vanished. The void closed. Space returned to normal. Only empty stars remained. Valora was quiet again, but it was not the same. In the days that followed, rebuilding began. Cities rose stronger. New defenses were planned. New alliances discussed. But one law was written first. Any signal of distress would be answered, no matter the distance. Monuments were built. Not of stone, but of light. Beacons that shone into space, carrying one message: you are not alone. Stories spread across nearby systems, of the Dominion defeat, of the human warship, of how the strongest empire had run in fear. The galaxy listened, trade routes changed, borders shifted, and in quiet corners of space, oppressors paused, because now they knew, when a world cried into the dark, someone might hear, far away, in human space. The Resolute moved on, scarred but steady. Another signal waited. Another voice called. Humanity did not slow. They never knew which world would be next, only that they would answer. Commander Terrell looked up at the stars each night, no longer afraid of the dark, because the void was not empty, it was watching, and when the void howled, humanity was coming.